All right, so I'm under the impression that you already had other lectures together. I'll come and take through some introduction part. So I would like to know Komefika up so that I continue from there. So we're looking at the issues of management as a science. Then you have management is an art. So you got to so I'll pick from there. And allow me to make a short introduction about myself. My name is Mr. Mugia. And I'll be assisting you to tackle this paper. Nikifunza watu section 5, section 4, 3. Bianga will assist them. I only teach what was section 1. This is a Komefika CPA section 5 objective to Nafanya. Yeah, you know what you're doing. So my name is Mr. Mugia, and hopefully I should be able to take you through this. And here's my number. Here's my number so that I'll be able to share with you any materials thereafter that you may require. And of course, if a time comes that you have a question and you do need to contact me, I'm always available. So that is my number. On WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and any other social media platform. Yes, so you can always communicate with us. So I'd like to get to know you guys, your name, and then we start to continue. Yeah, so let's start here. Hi. My name is Ben. All right, Gerald. Nice to meet you. Next.
My name is
Kelvin.
Kelvin.
All right, Kelvin. Nice to meet you. Yo. Okay. Yo. Like Ngulu at Yo. That's good. All right. So that is good. So let us start. Management is a science, and I believe you are told that whenever we talk about management as a science, we do refer to it being a body of scientific knowledge or a collection of knowledge. And I do know that you went through high school, and you remember that we used to have these elements. Yeah, we have the elements on the periodic table. And I do remember we used to have potassium. And whenever you took potassium and you pour it in a beaker full of water, it would react very explosively, yeah? Jutting over the water, producing a hissing sound. Yeah, that was that. Yeah, so potassium would react in such a manner. And of course, that was an experiment that was being run. We also knew that if you were to combine sodium, we maybe say sulfuric acid, you'd maybe get potassium sulfate and of course other issues. And of course, you'd know that if I do this and this, I'm expecting this. And that would be scientific. So, yeah. And you know that I don't need to mix, if I mix element, this and element, this is going to be explosive. So that was quite scientific. And when we come to management, we have the same experience. And we say that management is a science. And when we say management is a science, we say it's a science because of several reasons. And I believe those of the reasons. You looked at them. And I believe one of them was because management, whenever you look at management, you say, for example, we have a factor called motivation. Yes, if you provide motivation, what is likely to happen? We have something called the cause and effect relationship. I believe you looked at that. Yeah. Cause and effect relationship. Was it a point there? Yeah, cause and effect relationship. So if people don't have motivation, how are they likely to behave? If employees don't have the necessary resources available, good working conditions, proper remuneration, yeah, flexible working hours, how are these employees likely to behave? Are they likely to be more cooperative or less cooperative? No. So there's a cause and effect relationship. Another factor that, of course, you must have looked at was which one? Test of validity. Test of validity. What is test of validity? That over a period of time, these principles have been tested and they have been proven to be true. If I take potassium in Kenya and put it in water, how is it likely to react? Darting over the surface of the water, producing a hissing sound. If I take potassium and I'm in South Africa and I make it to your mind, how is it likely to react? In the same exact way. So if in Kenya, employees need motivation, what does it tell you about employees in Uganda? You also require motivation. It's not as if to say that these principles are only applicable to people in a particular area. They have been tested over a period of time and they have been proven to be what? To be true. Next year, even when you become a manager, these things are still going to be true. That motivation is necessary for employees. Point number 2 was what? Universality. That goes along with the principle of test of validity. So universalism, that over a period of time and also across the world, these principles still hold to be what? To be true. So those are some of the issues that, of course, you need to know. Let us come into the one that now, of course, we are supposed to look at today, and management is an art. So you can have a subtitle there, management is an art, so that you're able to tackle it. Management is an art. So what's an art? Yeah, management is an art. And you can write today's date. I believe it's 7th June. 7th June. So management is an art. What is an art? An art requires you to practice certain skills. Yeah, chef. Yeah. No one taught you. Yeah, but not your computer. Your mom, your dad, sister, brother, pale nyumbani have been cooking. Ushikalisho chini ukaambua hivi ndio unapika ugali. You remember? Ati ugali unapika kwa hivi uteka maji, ugoje dakika 10, uangalie kama gasi kosa. No, you don't, hakuna, you just okay, then you start doing it. The first ugali ulipika and the ulipika jana, are they the same quality? Has the quality been declining or has the quality of the ugali been improving? Simekuwa improve. Nani kwambia hivi? Nani kuonesha how to improve it? No one. You have been doing it continuously. And we see that management is an art in that sense. There are people who don't go to drawing school, but they can draw. We used to have this guy in high school. They could draw. Ako class ameketi, anakuangalia, na bibi anafanya an assignment. Kumbe anakuchora. And later on he will tell you, this is a picture of you. Later, and of course, you'd pay because it's such a nice picture. You wonder who taught this guy to draw? And it was natural. It came to him naturally. So we do see that management is an art. And when you talk about management as an art, we talk about it in the sense that, yes, some talk about that with regard to management, you must go to school and you must gain knowledge. You must gain what? Knowledge. So to gain this knowledge, it means that you go through a rigorous process of training. Now, this becomes a science. Management is a science. Then we say that management can be practiced. And as you practice, there are things that you can never be taught in class, like emotional intelligence. Emotional what? Intelligence. I may teach you how to treat people kindly, treat people fairly, be transparent with people, but that is just knowledge. It's until you have a scenario whereby you have to treat somebody kindly that you realize, by the way, last week when you treat him, I was not kind. And therefore, from that experience, thereafter, whenever you treat your employees, you have that experience within you that I did this and this, and it hurt an employee of mine. This is how they reacted, and therefore, from today henceforth, I'm going to change on how I'm going to engage my employees. So, some of that management is an art in that sense, that it is practice. And as you practice over time, there are things that you can never learn in class. There are things that you can never be trained. And if you think that's a lie, look at this class, although it's been recorded, and of course we share with some students. Okay, let me say this. If you think that some values can be trained, let us look at our country, Kenya. Let me make it soft so that I don't attack anyone. Look at the government of Kenya. Look at the employees in Kenya. Are these people not trained on being kind, being compassionate, being transparent, avoiding corruption? Have they not been taught on that? How many seminars do they go to be taught these values? As the Constitution of Kenya provided that we should behave in a particular way. How many people actually do that? Hello. Look at the Bible. The Bible prescribes that you should treat your neighbor as you'd like to be treated. But how many actually do that? It's only that when you practice treating people, and then from their reaction, you realize that I actually treated somebody in the wrong way. In the wrong way. So we see that management is an art in that sense. So you can take down this short description and say this. You were here last time? Hello. You were here last time. It's your first class. Yeah. All right. You can skip around 2 pages and then write management is an art. Management is an art. Say this. An art refers to the application of knowledge. The application of knowledge. Management is an art. An art refers to the application of knowledge. Comma. Management is regarded as an art. Art refers to the application of knowledge, then comma. Management is referred to as an art because it can be applied effectively. Because it can be applied effectively in solving various organizational problems. In solving various organizational problems. Full stop. Management has developed principles comma, theories, assumptions, which are applied in modern management practice. Management has developed principles, comma, theories, and assumptions which are applied in modern management practice. So, reasons why management is an art. Reasons why management is an art. And of course, you are not here, and because management is an art, we have what are called artistic feats, whereby you have to practice more physically than theoretical. Together, yeah. Also, accountancy is an art. Wakati una practice, unajua kwa classroom ukipatiwa balance sheet unaweza kosa kubalance. But ukienda pale kazini, you have all the relevant information, and as you continue practicing accountancy, becomes so much easier for you. So why is management an art? Number one, Practical knowledge. Practical knowledge. So, what's practical knowledge? Here's a short description. An art requires practical knowledge. Therefore, learning of theory is not sufficient. So, you have a degree, and here's the funny thing, you have a degree in management, you have a diploma in management, yeah, but are you really a manager? Hello, are you really a manager? Have you been put in that position and faced the circumstances of being a manager to actually say, I do actually qualify to be a manager? Yeah. So you must be thrown into the field, because gaining that knowledge only gives you the qualification, the certificate, the degree, the diploma, but actual practice of being a manager isn't there. That's how. Number 2, personal skill. Personal skill. We're all in the same class, yeah, but each of us is going to be a different kind of a manager. Yeah, she's a lady, of course. You guys are men. That also means that men are different type of managers from women, and then you guys are men, and each one of you has their own experience that has shaped them. So you'll be a different kind of a manager from him, though you went to the same school. That's how. So say this: personal skill. Although the theoretical base is the same, each develops their own style. And approach towards management. Each develops their own approach and style towards management. i.e., it is based on experience, knowledge, and personality. So that is that. For example, men are less agreeable. Did you know that? Men have what is called masculinity. Masculinity is toxic. Men are masculine in nature, and women are feminine in nature. So masculinity comes with not being agreeable. Not easy to agree with. But female managers are more agreeable. You see that? But at the end of the day, to reach a level whereby a woman becomes a manager, they have to adopt masculine traits, and therefore they become less agreeable. Did you know that? For you to fight these guys and be at that level, same competing actively, you'd have to adopt some masculine traits. So you have to be less agreeable. Less what? Agreeable. Together. So at the end of the day, you're saying is that based on not only gender, yes, also personality. There are people who are easygoing. They are managers, if you are under them, you feel like the job is just heaven on earth. Anakuja because kila mtu fanya kazi anasubiri nani. Other managers tend to be more aggressive. They focus on they do what is called micromanaging. You know micromanagement? Mtu mbona hiyo kitu iko hivyo? Mbona leo unakaa nikao umechoka? Mbona everything they are on your mbona leo javaa tai? So they are on you at every given moment. So that comes to what? Personal skill and also experience. When I started lecturing, I used to be easygoing. I used to be like, students know what they are doing. They are in college. So I would never pressure students like, make sure you solve my topic, make sure you find a. I would be like, you guys are not supposed to do any more fools. So, but over time I came to realize, students wanasema, kwa jamaa just stress your kitu. Yeah, you more stress. So the experience shaped me, and I was like, okay, you know what? I used to let guys do this and this, but over time I've come to realize that if I don't stress on this, they won't focus on that. So personal what? Skill. Number 3, creativity. Creativity. So what about creativity? Say this. It requires an element of creativity to produce. It requires an element of creativity to produce what has never existed. To produce what has never existed. And therefore you require intelligence and imagination. And therefore you require intelligence and imagination. Yes. Very good. And that's why we are having a scenario whereby we have 47 counties in Kenya. And of course, I will put a standard where I say this: every county has resources. Let me not take into factor some have more resources than others. Let me take a standard that all of them have resources. And I'm going to say this, that all 47 counties have resources, but not all 47 counties will use the resources in the same way. True or false? True or false? In economics, we find mambo na utilities. You remember utility? Oh my, ability of a good or service to satisfy human needs. Yeah. If I was to give 100 shillings, what is going to be in your basket? Mangoes, apples, maybe a banana. If I give him 100 shillings, maybe only bananas. If I give you 100 shillings, maybe apples only. If I give him 100 shillings, there will be nothing in the basket. Right? So it means that people are going to use the resources in a different way. Yeah. We had Kidero as the governor of. I'm not attacking anyone. Together. We had Kidero as the governor of Nairobi. How did he utilize the resources? We had the Sonko as the governor of Nairobi. How do you utilize the resources? And then we're going to have you as the governor of Nairobi. How will you use the resources? Because you need to create something that has not existed before. We have Bado. We have NMS. Yeah? Who's in charge of NMS? This guy, Bado. Yeah? Yeah? It's called Bado? Badi. I thought you knew Bado. I'm going to figure out Bado. Okay, Badi. How is Badi utilizing the resources? Is there some change in Nairobi? I don't know. You tell me. So it has to do with creativity. Number 4, perfection through practice. Perfection through practice. Says, practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. And with constant engagement in management, managers learn through trial and error. So there you have it. You're going to learn through trial and error. Yeah. Yes. Good. The last one, goal-oriented. Goal-oriented. So, what do we mean goal-oriented? The results orientation is to achieve concrete results. The result orientation is to achieve concrete results. Managers aim at predetermined goals. Managers aim at predetermined goals. Right? So that is that. So let me stop at that. So that is management is an art, management is a science. This question is normally 5 marks. This question is normally what? 5 marks. You have the past papers? You have past papers? Yeah, so keep it your past papers. If you ever meet such a question, it's normally 5 marks. And so many other questions are coming from this. Let me look at this one. Management is a profession. Management is a profession. Management is a profession. Why is management a profession? Why is management is a profession? Yeah, so you guys are learning accountancy, so become professional accountants. Say this, yeah? Professions entail the following. Professions entail the following. So for you to be considered a profession, you need to have the following. We have, of course, other professions around. We have doctors, we have nurses, we have accountants. Which are the professions? Engineers. I'm trying to say my teachers. Profession. These are two. Say this. Number one, it has a code of ethics for guidance. Number one, it has a code. It has a code of ethics for guidance. Yes, there's a code for teachers. There's a code for teachers. Like, which code do you know? Which ethical code do you know for teachers? Kelvin, which code do you know for teachers? Ethical code. Okay, you're an accountant. Which ethical code do you know for accountants? Integrity. Very good. Which ethical code do you know for doctors? To cause no harm to the patient. Yeah, they normally swear what is called the Hippocratic oath. Shall not cause harm to the patients in the course of treating them. Nenda kwa daktari na wabeli ni mwana tumbo anakupatia dawa za kichwa. They should not do that. Sio? Daktari anakuja amelewa na anataka kufanyia surgery. Hello. Ulikuwa unafaa kufanyia surgery ya tumbo anakufanyia surgery ya kichwa. You saw that I think 2 years ago, yeah? That is causing harm. It's unethical. Hello. Nurses also have an ethical code. And same with engineers. Mtu anakujengea nyumba alafu inaanguka after 1 year. Ikianguka watu walikuwa ndani wanakufa. It's unethical. He's trying to save on cost of material. Ajiweke pesa wapi? Kwa mfuko. At what cost? Look at that. It's unethical. So, number one, for it to be a profession, it must have a code of ethics for what? For guidance. Number two, it must have a professional body. It must have a professional body. Good. Next one. There must be a training, education, and examination body. Must have a training, education, and examination body. The last one, it must have a training, education, and an examination body. All right, the last one. It must consist of a body of knowledge. It must consist of a body of knowledge. It must consist of a body of knowledge. Yeah, so if management has all the above 4 characteristics, then we can consider management to be a what? A profession. So that is that. So having said that, I'll be able to move on to my next subtopic. And of course, if I do that, let me check whether you have this. All right, so next one is features or characteristics of management. Features or characteristics of management. Yes. How would you know that this is management? Yeah, how would you know that this is management? How would you know that this is management? Yes. So management has several characteristics. And the first one is easy. Number one, management is a science, an art, and a profession. That's the first characteristic of management. Management is a science, is an art, and it's a profession. It's an art, science, and profession. I believe tumeelezea hizi zote what they mean. So you have that. Number two, it involves resource allocation. It involves resource allocation. What is resources? Resources are things such as time, money, labor, machinery. So as long as you're allocating these resources, then you're doing management. And I believe in economics, used to have these diagrams. Natafuta a point, unasema at this point, this and this can happen. Unachora, alafu unasema, yes. You remember such things? Economics, section 2, paper number 3. This point up at you. It means that I need to have this. Y is equals to A plus B plus C, MX, Y, W, Z. You remember those things? That was management. This is just, whatever we are doing right now is a theoretical part of management. What you did there was always called the quantitative part of management. So that tells you management has a quantitative side. Later on, we shall be able to look at what are called the schools of management. Schools of management. And here what is called the qualitative school of management. Qualitative. Qualitative means theoretical. That's all. Then here what is called the quantitative school of management. Hapo ndo mkafanya vitu kama QA. Si ndio? Hiyo QA, quantitative analysis. Mkafanya vitu zinaitwa kama assignment problems. Assignment problems. Si ndio? Uko na roli ine, na uko na a lot of raw materials, na uko na 5 destinations. Transportation problems. Kule mwongo. Queuing method, networking, part, critical path method. Enda hivi. Fanya hivi. That was management. That's how you're going to manage. So, management involves resource allocation. If you're not allocating resources, you're not managing. Number 3, management is all-encompassing. Management is all-encompassing. It's all-encompassing. It touches on many aspects of human activities. It touches on many aspects of human activities. So when you're managing, it means that you're touching on the social parts of the work. So if you're dealing with people, they have a social life. See that? You should not have a working program that takes people away from their family. 24 hours, they don't have time for their family. They're going to break down. They'll break down because you need to communicate, you need social interaction. So management touches on your social part. And that's why as a manager, you need to be very careful how you interact with your employees. Because if you're rude to your employees, rude, and you're very aggressive, they're going to take that behavior back home. Did you know that? Hello? Did you know that? Some of the traits that your boss is exhibiting, as they continuously manage you, you start acquiring some of those traits. Because in psychology, we talk about behavior is acquired. And we talk about you can learn behavior. And you mimic and you observe. And as time goes on, for you to adapt to that environment, you end up picking some of those traits of the manager. So when you go back home, you take some of those. I don't want to tell ladies, you have become your mothers, whom you are very not cooperative with. You remember how your mom used to, usifanye, nikuone hapa. You remember all of that? You're doing the same today. Is that true? So, where's you want to go free? Do you want it when you are young, when you are at 20, you are at 18, you are 15, you want it to be free. See, mtu asikufuatilie. Mbona sana unafuatilia hiyo ndoto? Si wachana hai. Unaona? So, you imagine that as time goes on, you realize that some of these traits were actually maybe useful to survive in a particular environment. And therefore, you want to transfer the same behavior to the next person. So, management touches on the social part of the employee. The financial side also touches on that. Resources, it empowers you with the resources, and on and on and on. Mental state of the employee. That's what number today's managers need to be have what is called emotional intelligence. Otherwise, you can affect the mental state of the employee. Unaweza fanya mtu a commit suicide. Kila saa unaambia mtu wewe ni useless. Wewe ni mwanaume, wewe ni mwanamke kweli, useless. Hata ukishinda ukiambia mtu hivyo, the mental state yako unamkoroga. They go back home, commit suicide. Ama anakuwa aggressive, anakuwa violent. So management touches on very many aspects of the employee and of course the organization. Next up, management is complex. Management is complex. Say this. Managers engage in many different activities at the same time. Managers engage in many activities, many different activities at the same time. Yes. So you are there as a manager, you are thinking about your suppliers. Utalipa suppliers, supply. You're thinking about the government, ulipa tax last month. You're thinking about your employees' payers, why you not paid us. You're thinking about a bank loan, where to live in a year. You know, you're like 8, 10, 14 activities running, and all these activities are supposed to run at the same time, otherwise the organization is not going to be successful. Next up, management is multidisciplinary. Management is multidisciplinary. It borrows from different disciplines. E.g., economics, engineering, psychology, sociology. It borrows from different disciplines, e.g., economics, engineering, sociology, psychology, etc. So, nimesema tutaangalia something called schools of management. Under schools of management, tutaona what is called the behavioral school of thought. Behavioral school of thought borrows from psychology. We have two types of workers, worker X and worker Y. Who's worker X? Worker X avoids work, hataki kufanya kazi, and therefore they must be threatened, and there must be rules. Ndio afanye kazi. Kama kuna rules na there is no threatening, hatafanya kazi. Atakuwa anakuja ile darasa. Atakuwa anafanya kazi penye anataka. So we have worker X. And then we have worker Y. Who's worker Y? A worker Y is naturally motivated to do work. They don't need supervision.
So what do you do with worker Y? You give them freedom and they'll do their best. And why are you guys smiling? Are you worker X or worker Y? And why are you smiling? Are you worker X or worker Y? Wale ukaambiwa unaweza kuja ile saa kazi za unataka, utakuwa unakuja saa ngapi? Ama utakuja? Will you still come to work? If you are given the opportunity to set your own schedule, utakuwa unafanya kazi. And by end month, bora tu kazi imemalizika. How many days of the work would you go to work? Sasa ukifikiria hiyo sasa, now you can see whether you're worker X or worker Y. Ikifika saa 8 unajiuliza na nilienda home saa ngapi? You're worker X or worker Y. So that is behavioral school of what? Behavioral school of thought. Also in the behavioral school of thought, you talk about workers that are motivated by intrinsic factors and extrinsic factors. Together. So these are the probably next week. Then let's go to the next one. Of course, when we say management borrows from economics, I've talked about those issues. Management borrowing from engineering and so on and so on. So that is that. Management is intangible. Number 6. Management is intangible. Intangible means it cannot be touched. Say this. Management is invisible force that cannot be seen, but its presence is felt everywhere. Management is an invisible force which cannot be seen, but its presence is felt everywhere. Management is an invisible force, it cannot be seen, but its presence is felt everywhere, comma, in the form of results. So, you cannot see management. Of course, you can see the manager, but you cannot see the management. See? Yes, so, but the results are evidence. Next one, management is purposeful. Management is purposeful. See this. Management exists for achievement of specific objectives. Management exists for the achievement of specific objectives. Management exists for the achievement of specific objectives. So there you have it. There you have it. Management exists for the achievement of specific objectives. We have what are called objectives. Yeah. Later on, we shall be looking at what is called organizational direction. What is an organizational direction? And when we look at organizational direction, we shall look at 5 factors. Number 1, the vision. Number 2, the mission. Number 3, goals. Number 4, objectives. And number 5, values. Those are the 5 elements of an organizational direction. Tunaenda wapi? Where do we want to go? What is our vision? What are the characteristics of a good vision? What is our mission? What are the characteristics of a good mission statement? What are goals? What are objectives and what are values? Because you must have values. You must have values. You must have values. Now, right now you are about to complete CP, and I always ask myself, yeah, ask my students this, yeah. If today you are the head of the Ministry of Finance, would there be less corruption or more corruption? I always ask my students that. Today you are the Minister of Finance. Kopale Treasury, will there be less corruption? You will maintain what is there or you will increase it? For the purpose of learning, please say you will use it. For the purposes of learning, you will say, of course, for the purposes of learning, but you ndani unajijua. Unajua vile uko. Hello. Are you waiting for the opportunity? Amuna Goja will reduce. No, that's a very big question. No, that's a very big question. What would you do? Let's think about it. What would you do? Imagine being in charge of a budget of 2 trillion. 2 trillion. Now, if 100 million people take, no one would know. No one would know. Hello. You think about that. Unaanza kuwasha, unaanza kufanya hivi. Think about it. So, inamaanisha that at the end of the day, you must have certain values for you to have what is called an organizational direction. So, the next one, management is universal. Management is universal. And I believe he will finish last time. Yes, yeah. Universality of management. Those who were here last time. Yeah. Universality of management. So say this. The basic principles of management are universal in character. The basic principles of management are universal in character. The basic principles of management are universal in character. Yeah. So principles of management. In a mancha hapa lazima tuangalie something called the principles of management. Underline the word principle there. Because later on we shall be looking at the principles of management. We have what are called the 14 principles of management according to somebody called Henry Fayol. 14 principles of what? Management. We also have the principles of management according to Max Weber. Max Weber was a German, and we talk about his principles of management. So this is what tuangalia. Use of what is called the scientific school of management. Here we tuangalia some principles of management. Jesus. Say this direction. Management is a continuous process. Number 9. Management is a continuous process. So management does not end one day and does not start at any specific time. It is always ongoing. Say this. Management is an ongoing process, so as long as the organization is feasible. Management is an ongoing process, so as long as the organization is feasible. Management is an ongoing process, so as long as the organization is feasible. The last one, management is a social process. Management is a social process. Management is a social process. That's the last one. Number 10. Management is a social process. What do we mean by that? Series. It is done by people, through people, for the people. It is done by people, through people, for the people. So that is that. So those are the characteristics of management, and of course, it's important that you realize that. So at the end of the day, in any situation that we shall be writing about management, we shall be able to see all these things coming together. Yeah, so that is that. Well, next issue becomes managerial skills. What are those skills that a manager requires? Managerial skills. Skills of a manager, managerial skills. What are the skills required for a manager? Yes. Yeah. And I believe under management is an art. We said you require skills. We require those skills. So what are some of the skills that we need as managers? And let me define a skill first. Yeah. Say it, yeah. Short description. Yeah? A skill refers to ability and talent that managers require.
A skill refers to abilities and talents that a manager requires to perform their roles effectively. Skills refers to ability, talent that a manager requires to perform their roles effectively. So let me draw this diagram here. And we have conceptual skills, diagnostic skills, right? Then we have top level managers, mid-level managers, lower level managers. All right, here we have technical skills. Here we have what is called interpersonal or human relation skills. All right, so we have it. So what does this diagram mean? This diagram means that we have 5 major skills: conceptual skills, diagnostic skills, technical skills, and interpersonal skills. Now, these skills are not required all to the highest level by each manager. So we are saying this, yeah? Top level managers require more conceptual skills and diagnostic skills. Conceptual skills to foresee the vision, mission, where we want to be. That's how. Then lower level managers need more of technical skills and interpersonal skills because they are the ones who are constantly dealing with the employees. Supervisor would need to know, hii machine operate wangu aje, spare parts zake zinakanga aje, after how long should I replace? Simefanya hesabu ya replacement. Yeah. Replacement. At what time should I replace? Replacement of parts, individual replacement or group replacement. So you would need to know quality nafaa kuchukua ni gani. And then they deal with the employees on a day-to-day basis. How should I treat my employees? So these lower level managers need more of these skills because you wouldn't find a lower manager level thinking about the vision and the goals that they about the organization. Why? They're involved in more in the day-to-day running of the organization. And then of course, we have middle-level managers. They need a mix of both. So that they provide the link between low-level management and top-level what? Management. So you can draw that, and then I can be able to explain it without problems. Are you able to see the handwriting? This handwriting used to get 27 out of 40 in composition. This is an handwriting. It used to get 27. But very good handwriting. So I maintained this. Otherwise, I would have changed it. All right. Let's start with the first one. Number 1. Conceptual skills. Conceptual skills. Check this. Ability to look at the organization in a holistic manner. Ability to look at the organization in a holistic
manner. Ability to look at the organization in a holistic manner. To see the relationship between forces of internal and external environment. Ability to see the organization in a holistic manner. To see the relationship between internal and external environment. To see the relationship between forces in the internal and external environment that others cannot see. Others cannot see. You're a manager, corona imetokea. That's what some companies went under. Some companies shut down, by the way. Other companies increase productivity or maintain their productivity. Because of that skill, conceptual skill. Companies like Amazon were making billions, profit as much as 85 to 155 more profit margins. You'd expect them to make losses, but they're making profits. How? Netflix grew the number of prescribers. Wengine wakifunga Netflix, namba zao zinapanda juu. So you ask yourself, some schools shut down. Students were never unable to attend classes. Other schools, their students complete the syllabus on time. What did some managers at these technical colleges see that other managers did not see? Let us go online. Let us do this. Let us train our lecturers on this. Let us have our students be ready to do this. Let us adapt to the change. Well, within that 2 to 3 days, corona imetokea leo, shule zikafungwa. Within 2 days, osha move shule yako. They are ready to be online within 2 days. Wengine 1 month later, wanasema, what are online? Acha sasa pia sisi tujaribu twende online. You are a late mover. Underline the word internal and external environment. Why? Because later on we shall be looking at the environment and the impact of the environment on the management. Tutakuwa tunaangalia na tuseme internal environment, external environment, task environment. And I believe this is mmesoma pia kwa economics. Where we talk about the micro and macro factors. Kwenye maombo. Habari yenu. Good evening. Good evening. Macro and micro environment, pastel, political, economic, social, technological, and legal environment. So, hizo vitu lazima ujue tena. How do they influence you when you make your decisions? I thank God hiyo topic nikifika stafuza because mulifundishwa mko economics. Amen. Mnamtaki mchezo. Amen. Amtaki mchezo. Lazima nirudie. Check this. This enables managers to think strategically, still on the same point. This enables managers to think strategically, to spot opportunities. This enables managers to think strategically, to spot opportunities, and identify threats. To spot opportunities and identify threats. All right. Number 2, diagnostic skills. Diagnostic skills. Diagnostic skills. What are diagnostic skills? Say this. Yeah, to diagnose. When you go to a hospital, the word is called a diagnosis. Yeah. The doctor does a checkup. Ajue shida iko wapi, si ndio? Kifika hospitali, the first thing they do, unapelekwa kwa mtu fulani pale na they check your blood pressure, si ndio? They check your, is it weight or height? Weight, wanaangalia kilo zako ni ngapi, si ndio? Yeah. And then, of course, they also check on also what else? Weight, blood pressure, and then they ask you your family history. Kwenye mko na shida ya kidney, mko na shida ya roho, wewe ni mlevi, ushiulize swali, wewe unakunywa pombe. Si unauliza hizo swali? Ama ni mimi niuliza peke yangu? Unajua nimekuja kujua kuna vitu nime experience peke yangu, alafu nadhani tuli experience si wote. Ushiulize hizo maswali. Mko na complication yote kwa familia yenu. Kuna kwa ugonjwa na wasumbua kwenyu. So why you ask those questions? So that the doctor has a clear picture. A clear picture of your history, because when they have your history, they can be able to maybe know what to prescribe to you. Kama ni lightweight, yani hauna kilo za kutosha, kuna dawa unaweza patiwa ikubebe, si ndio? Yeah. Unauliza, do you have allergy? Si ndio? Juu kuna dawa ukipatiwa ndio kuna hiyo allergy itakusumbua, si ndio? Diagnosis. Managers need that. Say this. Managers must be able to define and understand situations. Managers must be able to define and understand situations. And the skill helps them. And the skill helps them to interpret situations. And the skill helps them to interpret situations, conditions, and the skill helps them to interpret situations, conditions, and to draw answers, from underlying issues, We were called underlying issues. Yes, underlying issues. To assist managers to interpret situations and conditions to draw answers from underlying issues. That's how. Yeah. So that is that. So as a manager, you must be able to diagnose. What is the issue? You have employees and your employees are complaining. Wanasema salary ni ndogo. Salary ni ndogo. So what is the underlying issue? Salary ni ndogo. What is the underlying issue for salary ni ndogo? Is there a reason why they are complaining about the salary? There could be a reason. Maybe in the medical industry, your nurses are complaining about salary. What is the underlying issue? Maybe work has increased. Working hours have increased. Yeah. Maybe some of them have improved their academic qualifications and they're still receiving the same what? The same pay. Maybe other nurses in the private sector, they have been paid more. Underline what? Issues. Nikaone mtoto wako anaanza kuvunja vikombe, anaanza kuvunja TV, akona erratic behavior. You start punishing them. Not punishing them. There's an issue. Kwani anaanza kuvunja because si kawaida yake kuvunjaga vikombe. So umekuwa na hizo siku zote. Yeah. Achakuwa na hiyo behavior. So what is the issue? And that's why your mom and dad used to say, umeanza kukaa na kampani mbaya. Sindio? That is the underlying issue. Because there's a time used to be like this. But now, you are this way. There's something that is influencing the change in behavior. Hello. I know your husband and wives here, yeah? Hello. When you started, when you were together the first 1, 2, 3, 4 years, ukitoka kazini, you go home direct. Sindio? Unafika nyumbani mapema. But squeezy, huwezi fika nyumbani direct. Lazima upite kama mahali uchelewe. What is the issue that is making you unapitia mahali uchelewe? Sindio? There must be an issue, sindio? Yeah. The first few years ukifika ulikuwa unaambiwa, umefika, welcome, have a seat. Unatolewa viatu, unatolewa socks, enda uoge, kula. Sikizo ukifika unaweza kumwona. Umeleta nyama, umefanya hivi. So it means that maybe the conditions have changed. You know? And because the conditions have changed, you're also changing with the conditions. And that's why I tell people change. It seems that people don't change, but people do change over time. Their behavior changes. And if you expect somebody to remain the same, you're going to be disappointed. Hello? Come on, hata mimi sasa unaona vile ninawapatia notes ninaandika. I'm also going to change that together. By next month, I'll not be writing. Change must happen. Change is real. Hello, we shall be looking at a topic called change management. I think topic 5 or 6, connect your change management. What is change? What causes change? Why do people resist change? People do change, right? Together. So, in as much as people change, in as much as the organization is changing, there are what are called underlying issues. And to be able to see those underlying issues and become a good manager, you must have that skill called what? A diagnostic what? Skill. The reason why somebody is behaving the way they're behaving. Don't just take it at face value. Interrogate. Number 3, interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills. The ability to deal with interpersonal skills, the ability to deal with and work, the ability to deal with and work. With others, to build a cooperative group, the ability to deal with and work with others to build a cooperative group. It leads to the achievement of goals. It leads to the achievement of goals, especially it leads to the achievement of goals, especially with proper communication and motivation, especially with proper communication and motivation. It helps managers to also deal with conflict and resistance to change. It also helps managers to deal with conflict and resistance to change. It helps managers to deal with conflict and resistance to change. Yeah, so that we have that. So interpersonal skills, it helps you to do that. And these are necessary skills, yeah? It's a necessary skill. Even to survive in life, you need this skill. Hello. You need what this also skill. Let me give you an example that you need to apply in life. How many are we here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah? I'm going to give out 1,000 shillings. That together. 1,000 what? Shillings. And the rule of the game is you are the one to decide how much you're going to share with the next person. So each person is going to receive 1,000. And then you're supposed to share with the next person, And the rule is this. Rule 1, you are the one to determine how much you're going to share. Rule number 2, if they disagree, they don't get anything. So I give you 1,000. How much are you going to give him? Say any number. Ni pesa yako, nimepatia 1,000. How much are you going to give him? 50 shillings. Do you agree or disagree? And be honest. Do you agree or disagree? Which means atabaki na 1,000 shillings. You get your 1,000 shillings. How much are you going to give him? 500. Do you agree or disagree? You disagree? You agree? Good. You receive 1,000. How much are you going to give her? Yes? And you go share. You guys must be angels, or I'm in the wrong class. You go share, all right? You receive 1,000. How much are you going to give her? 50. Do you agree or disagree? Disagree. So she remains with the 1,000 shillings. How much? You have 1,000 shillings. How much are you going to give me? 400. I think I would agree with that. All right. I have my 1,000 shillings. I'm going to give you 600 shillings. Do you agree or disagree? Now that this game is over, who do you want to play with? Hello. Now that the game is over, hello, there are several people here who are back in the 1,000 here. Sindio? There are those who have shared their money. Now, who do you want to play with? Who do you want to play with? You want to play with people who disagree? Sure? Sure? You want to play with people who disagree? Because the next time they have 1,000 shillings, because they disagree with you, they're not going to give you. They're going to give you the least possible amount because they know you what? Disagree. People are wanting to go to play with those people who are willing to share more. And life is similar. So at the end of the day, those people who are willing to share more than half or half are the people who next time you'll want to play with. And those people who gave you the least possible amount, because they knew very well you're going to be. So nakumbuka the rules of the game. Walijua utadisagree, no ukidisagree atabaki na yote. So it is in that similar way that we do something called networking. You build your what? You build your network. How do you build your network? You give fair or more than fair. Hello? I run a business. For example, ninauza ng'ombe na mbuzi. So I always give the best deal to those who I'm working with. Because if they give them the best deal, they're going to bring me more people to play with. And if they bring more people to play with, I play with them and I also give them the best what? Deal. And as I give more people those who are willing to play with me, I give them the best deal. They continuously bring me a larger network. Hello. But if you're playing a game whereby you're not willing to give a fair deal, you'll only benefit in the short run. Hello, in the short run. The short run. In the short run, you won't benefit. But in the long run, you're going to lose out. Because in the long run, no one will want to play with you. Hello. So it's interesting. It's interesting. I looked at it from an economic point of view. And whenever you look at it from an economic point of view, we are always more willing to sacrifice so as long as we gain. No. And that means that we don't build relationships. No, we don't build what? Relationships. Why? Because we are me-centered. We are me-centered. And when you're me-centered, you lose out. Let me not continue that story. It's a very long story. Number 4, technical skills. Sales. It is the ability to use knowledge or techniques. It is the ability to use knowledge or techniques of a specific discipline. It is the ability to use knowledge or techniques of a specific discipline to attain objectives. To attain objectives. Ability to use knowledge or techniques of a specific discipline. Of a specific discipline. Hiyo ni kitu kama, for example, umesomea project management, umesomea business management, umesomea business administration, umesomea accountancy, umesomea specific discipline to attain objectives. All right, next one, number 5, communication skills. Communication skills. Says managers should possess good communication skills. I think that is obvious. Managers should possess good communication skills. Yes. Yes. Number 6. Problem solving skills. Problem solving skills. Problem solving skills. Number 7, decision making skills. You will notice that I've not explained those ones because I'm under the impression that you're aware what that means. Number 8, analytical skills. Yes, hiyo kwa CV yako uliandika you have analytical skills. Usidhani sikuoni. Yes. Ya mwisho, political skills. Political skills. And all these skills are necessary in life. These skills are necessary. For you to maintain a healthy relationship, you must have all these skills. There's a time you have a problem between you and your partner. Real problem, money problems. How do you deal with it? When there's a money problem, how should you approach it? How do women view money? My money, your money, our money. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? You have a child, and this child is very unruly, and the mother does not want you to discipline the child. How do you deal with that? My son. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? We have what I call political skills. Everything is political. Usijidanganya that nothing is political, even in your house. Sikuna mali unaketingi. Ukipata mtu hapo anainukanga anaanza kujipanga, si ndio? That's political. Tikiti yako. There's a cup you normally use. Unaekiwanga chai kwa hiyo cup. Always. Na kuna mtu mwingine anatumia hiyo cup. Why? Ukifika unachukua remote. Hata kama watu walikuwa na watch TV, you are the one who takes the remote and decides what to do. That's political. And you must be able to negotiate, because if you don't negotiate, kutakuwa na conflict. Watu wakikuona wanasema amekuja. Do you want that? Hello, do you want that? Ukifika kwa nyumba, people are like, sasa amekuja. Sasa everything imeharibika. Ni venye anataka. Do you see that? There's politics even in the family. Hello. Who sits where? Who eats what? Hello. Nyama ile kubwa, ile iko kwa mfupa. Inapatiwa kwa nani? How political. Hello. It's political. There are political games in the house. And I believe in a kiwe mlikuwa mnafanya something called game theory. Sindio? 2-sum game. 0-sum game. Multiple game. Yeah. Life is like that. There are multiple games that you are playing constantly. So, how do you gain? Because the goal is to gain more and lose less. But it would mean to lose more so that you gain. It's a paradox. It's a paradox. Like, for example, you're in the house and you want to watch news, and nobody wants to watch news. So how do you play that out? How do you play that out? Want to watch news, but everybody else does not want to watch news. Then we want to watch news. How do you play that game? So that what was the feel that umekuwa so aggressive, and also you still want to watch news? How do you play that game? Because that game must be played. And you don't want to lose them. That is socially. They feel that you're very aggressive, that you are skizani. But you still also want to watch news because you need to watch news. Wanakuletea kipindi ya Maria, na hutaki kuona Maria, and you are there. How do you deal with that? Do you say, kama stay watch Maria, your TV is evil? Do you do that? How do you deal with that? It's the same thing with the managers. You have a good employee, very good employee, performing to the best of their ability, but they want extra cash. They want extra money. They want improved salary. Na wezi muimprove salary yake peke yake wacha wengine. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? You have an employee, the best employee of the month, lakini anachelewanga. So he's setting a bad example, anachelewanga. He comes to work late. But you need him. He's the best employee. Labda ni tech, mtu wa technical, mtu wa computer, ICT. He's the best. But anachelewanga kila siku. Na huwezi mfuta kazi. Ukimfuta kazi, kutakuwa na shida. How do you deal with that person? You need these skills. Are you together? So that at the end of the day, you get to understand him, interpersonal skills. What is that reason? This because normally I feel you'd want to know. See, So as you interrogate why he has come late, you'd want to build a connection with him, and so that at the end of the day you motivate him. How we talk about motivation, and then you communicate with him, so that you bring him on board because you want him. Hello, there are suppliers who are very rude, but they have the best quality of raw materials. So how do you deal with that? Do you ignore their rudeness and then get raw materials, or do you try to modify their behavior? So you, of course, find yourself dealing with all these issues concurrently. Let us go to our next issue: levels of management. Levels of management. And of course, from this diagram, you can already tell there are how many levels of management. See that? How many levels of management? Yeah? Simultaneous diagnostic skills. How many levels of management? 3 levels of what? Management. All right, draw this. All right, so name this one, also this one. 3 levels of management. Yes. Strategic level, tactical level, alafu ya mwisho inaitwa functional level. AKA top, middle, and lower level management. All right, so these are the 3 levels of management. And each level of management is responsible for a particular function. And as I say, whenever you talk about conceptual skills, we are thinking about where do we want our organization? What is our vision? What is our mission? What is our goal? What is our strategy? What is our approach? Those are things that will be discussed where? At the top level, what? Management level. So inamaanisha, who are the top level management level? Hapa kuna the likes of the CEO, the board of directors, managing directors. So, yes. And these people, we shall be asking ourselves, what are the characteristics of a good composition of board of directors? So easy to solve easy. We'll look at them under a topic called governance. What is the name of this unit? Strategy, governance, and ethics. So under governance, tutakuwa tukiangalia hawa watu, CEO, board of directors, and how they should be composed and how they should be running the organization. The last part of our top, the name of our unit is strategy, governance, and ethics. What are the ethics that should be observed when governing our organization? So that is it. Then we have the middle level management or the tactical level management. They provide a link between strategic level and functional level. So they are the ones who provide what is called a supervision role. All right. And of course, they also have some responsibilities like breaking down the long-term plans into middle or medium-term plans. And then we have the functional level. This is the most important level. Why? Because they are involved in execution of the what? Of the plans. They execute those plans. And the functional level is whereby we have the what you call the departments. We have finance department, HR department, marketing department, etc., research and development department. So what are the functions of these departments? Marketing department. We talk about the 4 P's of marketing: price, product, promotion, place, aka distribution. We talk about what are called the 5 marketing concepts: the production concept, product concept, mass concept. So, kazi yao, research and development, kazi yao ni nini? To gather information. Business intelligence. Finance department, mambo ya budgets, budgeting. So, mmefanya mambo ya budgeting kwa unit inaitwa MA. Nakumbuka unit inaitwa MA. Hello, mama naangalia hivyo. Hello, finance department, MA. Na hiyo managerial accounting, cost accounting. Kwani iko nini? Simulisoma hizo units. Ndio hiyo finance department. They deal with all that. So we should be able to look at all these in fine details as we progress. So say this. Number one, top level or strategic level. This represents a relatively small group of managers. This represents a relatively small group of managers who control the organization, and have the final authority, They include CEO, managing director, general manager. They include CEO, managing director, general manager, board of directors, and partners. They include CEO, managing directors, general managers, board of directors, and partners. First of all, they're responsible for the whole organization. They're responsible for the whole organization. They're responsible for the whole organization. And positioning it in a competitive environment. Very good. Says they develop the vision and mission. And also scan the environment. They develop the vision and mission and also scan the environment. The environment tutaiangalia in very great detail later on ukifika topic 3 under what is called strategic management. All right, number 2. Tactical level managers, aka middle level managers. Tactical level managers. They implement the top management policies. They develop plans for their departments. Communicate and interpret company policy. Very good. Ya mwisho, functional level management. They're also known as first line managers. They're also known as first line managers. is the supervisors, all 4 men. They are supervisors, all 4 men. They plan, guide, they plan, guide, supervise, and control. The members of staff under them. The members of staff under them. They are concerned with hyphen. Usandike hyphen, like a hyphen. They are concerned with hyphen. Planning day-to-day activities. Number 2, hyphen. Assigning personnel specific duties. Next hyphen. Evaluating employee performance. Next one, hyphen. Providing a link between management and other staff. So those are some of the roles of a functional level manager. Now, question. In management, we can use the bottom up approach or top down approach. Justify each. 8 marks. Justify each 8 marks. So what is the bottom up? Bottom up. Bottom up approach means that you manage from low level going upwards. That's how equal benefits that. I would want you to look at that. Then top-bottom approach means that you manage from the top heading downwards. That also has its benefits. I would want you to look at also that. So I would like you to answer that question, and of course, you'll find that it's very interesting. And you'd always want to ask yourself, especially sasa now that wakati you guys will finish CP, and I know some of you already working, you'll find yourself at the lower level management. There are things that you want to be implemented. But they'll never be implemented. Why? Because you are really not involved in decision making. Your contribution is not taken into consideration. Why? Because the approach is top bottom. They make the policies, they make the plans, they are translated into policies, and yours is to execute. But what you want to execute, you are the one there knowing that no, it can be done this way, but who will allow you to do it that way? No. Then of course we have what is called the bottom-up approach. The bottom-up approach is interesting. Why? Because the people who are involved in the day-to-day activities, they give you the feedback. Nini iko real kwa ground. What is real? You must have to go ground into. So they tell you what is happening. You gather that information, and then it is translated into policy, and then the top level makes plans that are in line with what is reality. Hello? Look at Safaricom. Safaricom uses that kind of approach, bottom-up approach. Why? Because The guys at the retails, that was a credit. The guys at the shops, that is the Safaricom shops. These guys are constantly meeting their customers. So if customers are complaining and they're saying this and this is not right, within 2-3 days, Safaricom is adjusted. Look at that. Customers used to send money to the wrong numbers. Ulikuwa unatumia mtu fare, alafu unatuma to the wrong numbers. If you send to the wrong number, itarudishwa. So as customers complain, there's an adjusting of the policy to have a new IT system that allows us, before we send money, we know in any tunatumia pesa. Look at that. Customers were like, Safaricom bundles zenyu zinaisha haraka. So Safaricom were like, kuna unatumia bundles kufanya nini? Natumianga bundles za YouTube. So Safaricom makes bundles specific za YouTube. Look at that. Safaricom like, mimi natumianga bundles zangu for browsing, not YouTube. So bundles zangu zina expire haraka. Mbona bundles zangu zina expire? Safaricom adjust options for bundles that do not expire. Have the other telecommunications, that is Equitel, Telcom, Airtel. Of course, I'm not here to praise Safaricom. Sometimes there's a lot of criticize them. Hello. So when you look at Equitel, Telcom, Airtel, have they adjusted their systems to be like the one of Safaricom? Okoa jahazi. Okoa jahazi na okoe jahazi ingine, because there were people who used to okoa jahazi after wataka okoa jahazi tena. Sindio? Wako. Hello, ni nyinyi. Not together. So Safaricom comes up with a new way that unaokoa jahazi, alafu bado unaweza okoa jahazi ingine. Si umeona hiyo kitu? Is it ni nani alikama up na hiyo? Nani kama up na hiyo approach? Is it the top level management or the ones who have been getting the information that we need to have okoa jahazi done? So that is that. So I would like you to answer that question. And of course, here's another question. Say it's another question. Say this. In practice of management, managers have certain roles. In reference to Henry Mintisberg, discuss the 10 roles of a manager. Discuss the 10 roles of a manager. 8 marks. So I would also like you to look at that. So I'm going to stop there because this is our first time. But this unit, of course, you know very well, is theoretical. It has a lot of issues that need to be discussed. I will try my best to discuss some of those issues. And of course, I will be sharing notes, some soft copy, especially topic 2. Topic 2 is called the School of Thought of Management, or the Managerial School of Thought. Hiyo nitawatumia PDF about it because it's so huge, around 22 pages. I'll be able to send you a PDF on that one, and then when we come to class, we discuss it, and after you write some short notes, and of course, focus on the key issues that matter. So that is that. So that was our first class. For those who are not here when I started, I've said that my name is Mr. Mubea. I've shared my number with you guys. And of course, who's the class rep? You have a class rep? No class rep? Okay, by Saturday, otherwise I can still talk to all of you, no problem. So we will be able to share. That is that. I hope you guys are ready to write a lot, and of course also to discuss and answer some of these questions on your own. Because lazima tusaidiane, otherwise itakuwa mlima. Yes, so that is that. Thank you, and see you guys next time on Saturday.